boss? I'm good, boss. Thank you.
Okay. We're playing that bit now and then we go.
ID, select payment method, wallet or card, confirm and complete payment. How's it, boss? I'm good, boss. Thank you. Select Pay Merchant, select Manual Entry, enter the merchant ID, select payment method, wallet or card, confirm and complete payment.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our fourth session of the Standard Bank #Grow Your Business It Can Be online talk. I'm Desiree London Miller, Marketing Manager at the Namibia Economist, and welcome to this session. On my left, we have our presenters, Margaret Gustavo. She's Managing Director at Cornerstone, and Managing Director Brendan Immich from Point Blunt Multimedia Productions. And on the far left is Felicia Ewister. She's the Manager of Enterprise Director from Standard Bank. Welcome all of you, and thank you for your patience. We had a technical hiccup, and thank you to the technical staff for sorting that out quickly. Thank you. Before we start with our official proceedings, I just want to tell everybody that's live, you can enter the competition, courtesy of Standard Bank. Our competition for this webinar is a marketing plan pack to the value of 5,000 Namibia dollars. And the competition link is in the Discord chat room as well as the YouTube chat. You can access it there. There will be 3 questions, one from each presenter or presentation. And we will have half an hour afterwards where you can still finalize the entry, and you will then stand a chance to win this prize. All successful entries will go into a draw, and Standard Bank will then announce the winner. Now, in February, our talk in February was about prepare for opportunities that come with adversity. And the main theme there was that we were looking at how important it was to build a resilient mindset, and then to uncover new ways of doing things to ensure that we survive in this turbulent economic environment that we find ourselves in. Now for today, we're talking about building marketing in the next normal. Now all businesses should have a marketing strategy, no exceptions. And as you all know, strategies are outdated, or in this instance, most businesses have undergone significant change because of what has happened. And it's therefore so important that you see and make sure that your strategy is still headed in the right direction. Because societal trends have just changed so much in terms of how we work, how we play, and how we learn, and how we shop, and also how we use technology. Now these changes have been accelerated because of the lockdown and COVID-19, and some are new trends. That's why we're presenting this talk with you today. Now, the only way to survive and thrive is then to look at your marketing strategy and see that you have that in place as this new normal unfolds. So for our discussion today, we will try and help you understand how to identify that customer, how to reach that customer, how to create excitement and engage and create loyalty, and then of course, most importantly, our digital marketing. So our first talk is Margaret Gustavo, and if you'll bear with me, I just want to do a quick introduction. She's communications and branding powerhouse. Thank you, Margaret, for being here with us. She's especially keen on building nation brands, following an impressive career providing brand and marketing leadership at several companies. In 2013, she founded Cornerstone, a brand strategy firm to cement a passion to work with various Namibian companies invested in growing sustainable brands. She holds a bachelor's degree in commerce and a master's in business leadership. And with that, I'm giving over to Margaret. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Desiree. I'm glad I'm here today. We were actually having a great chat like this afternoon as we were waiting, so we were not completely bored as we were waiting for the technology to be sorted out. But we had a great chat, and we were just obviously catching up with each other on how marketing works. And yes, we are in a new normal. And what I did notice, though, is that there are certain principles that are just timeless, you know, when it comes to marketing.
Yes.
And so in order for us to build a successful sales and marketing strategy to bring in business in the 21st century, in 2021 and beyond, you know, I just looked at, I had a chat with a couple of SMEs, and I asked them, what would you want to know about marketing? And many of them basically told me, you know, Margaret, I would like to know about, predominantly, is they want to know how to market themselves on the digital platforms. And Brendan, thank God, Brendan's going to take care of that. And Brendan's going to talk about how to market yourself on digital platforms. But also what they talked about was, how does marketing really add value to my business? Does it add value to the bottom line? And I want to tell everybody that marketing is your business. It is like your whole business. If you do not consider marketing, then you know you're going to miss elements of your business, because everything, you know how they say everything rises and falls on leadership? Well, in the business world, everything rises and falls on marketing after leadership. So many people, your thing, therefore you, but you'll see now as I go through, just giving you some tips. So somebody actually is, it's really determining your target market. In other words, who are the people that you are speaking to? Who are the people that you're selling your product to? Who are you offering your service to? And who are the companies you're working with? Because some companies have business clients and they're not necessarily working with consumers, with myself or Brendan or Felicia or yourself. But they would work with, you know, like a business to business. So my company provides a service or provides a product to another company. And that's a completely different, but it's understanding that. And you'll see why that's very important. And please, Brendan, chip in when you think you want to add some value. Because I think it's important that we sort of, you know, like touch base and add that value for all our listeners. Number two, you need to determine the needs and the wants of this target market. Many times, we know we have a product or we have a service, and we just open doors. There we go. Go do your thing. And we don't even know who we're selling the product to. We don't understand what their needs are, what their wants are. And I mean, if we just backtrack right now, the day you decided to write a business plan, you already started considering your marketing. You already started considering who are the people I'm going to sell this product to. If you took a business plan to Standard Bank, I'm sure they were in there. You had to say, what is the product you're selling? How much will it cost? Who are you selling it to? How are you going to make sure you actually sell that product? So determining your target market's needs and wants are so very important. And then number three, it's fulfilling the needs and wants better than your competition. Many times you will find that I can differentiate my product using anything. I can either differentiate it with my packaging. It will look different from Brendan's product. I can differentiate my product with my name. You know, somebody will call it Nga, and other one will call it Nice. You know, so I'm just saying, don't use those names. So depending on what you want to, how you differentiate yourself, how you need to differentiate yourself, will be based on exactly that. Packaging, how you know what I mean, what is your differentiator across the spectrum? So then I was also asked, how is branding and marketing different? What's a brand and what's marketing? So the best definition I've ever found on marketing is that, on brands, is that a brand is a promise of a bundle of attributes that someone buys. These attributes that make up a brand may be real or illusory. They may be rational or emotional. They may be tangible or invisible. Please ignore the spelling error. Okay, so that's from Amber and Styles. And I love what Ogilvy said. He says that brands live in our heads. So if everybody were to die today in this world, brands would also disappear. Because as a product, as a company, I sell a product to a target market. I determine the idea you have around my product. I make you a promise. I tell you, I'm going to sell you this product at X amount, and I'm going to make sure, some people would say, I'll make sure the product is delivered within 24 hours. So that's a promise I'm making to you. And then based on that, I need to package myself internally to make sure that I deliver in 24 hours. So for instance, say for instance, one of our telecom companies had actually promised that we will be live at 1:30. So everything they needed to do this whole morning or even 2 days ago was to make sure that everything is in place to, by 1:30, we are live. So it's the same with products, and it's the same with marketing, it's the same with services. And we're in a service industry, and many times and we're also a small business. Many times what will happen is a client will ask us, okay, Margaret, please do a brand strategy for us, and then they ask for a timeline. So you're managing the expectations of this client. They'll ask you, when are you going to deliver on this? So then you put a timeline together, and so you tick off the milestones as you go and make sure the client gets it. So how does marketing and a strong brand then generate revenue and impact the bottom line? Isn't that why we're in business? And many people would say, yes, at the end of the day, profit is hygiene. We want to make money. We need to make a profit. That's why we are in business. But how we do it, like how we position ourselves in the market, that's completely different. Many people do it differently. Some want to grow the nation. Other people want to make sure that, we take care of thirst, as Coca-Cola says, a Coke, arm's length away from everybody. And I'll touch on that as we go. So the reason why brands and marketing are important is that it makes shopping easier. So, like when you walk into a shop and you want to buy pasta, you know where to go. Okay. And then because you've gone, or I don't want to mention any Namibian brands because I might just get into trouble with some of my clients or what have you. But if you walk and you want to buy maize meal in a shop, there are brands that are so strong that your mother will literally tell you, go buy Marathon sugar, for sugar. Go buy Marathon. And the child knows. Nobody needs to ask questions. Nobody's, what's Marathon, mother? It's like it's become like the category or like that sugar. It's become the name of all sugar. So it doesn't really matter which sugar you go to. Your mother says, go buy Marathon, and guess where you go? You go to the Marathon in the aisle. So it makes shopping easier. And it increases profit, and it enhances your market share. So market share is really the pie. So if a pie is 100, I want to have at least 80% or more than 50% in order to make it lucrative. So when you have a brand, what you'll notice is that you will have a greater market share than everybody else. But it is within that target audience. Let's take, for example, if you have a very high-end product. I know that many people listening would know. I'm just going to give a fly-by-night example. Say, for instance, Louis Vuitton. Everybody loves that bag. You'll pay a good premium for that product. And then you go to Edgar's and you buy another bag, and you pay that premium for that bag, which is completely different from the Louis Vuitton. You just pay a bit more. Louis Vuitton must have a very small target market, very niche market, and they know who those people are, but that price for that target audience is completely fine. Nobody's complaining about it. They know their target audience well. They know the price that this target audience was willing to pay, and that they have a market share within this market that works for them. And they obviously need to make sure that they are the leader in that market. And then it gives you a distinct identity, so you stand out. It's easier to walk down the aisle and pick up a pasta brand off the shelf that we all know, that you know. You go into the store and you pick it up, versus walking into the store and you don't know what you're looking for. So that's how brands just differentiate you. And the fourth one is you can command a premium for your product. And I'm going to show you some examples. And survive failures. I don't know how many of you know, I love this example because when BP had that massive oil spill, yeah, they messed up and they were in trouble, and then BP doesn't exist today. But when Volkswagen had the emissions problem, because Volkswagen was been in the market for such a long time, they survived that failure because people trusted in the product. It wasn't so much the MD. They forgave the company, the brand, they probably didn't forgive the MD or the CEO at the time. So you can command a premium and you will survive failures. So it's a matter of investing. VW has been in the market for a long time. Some of our Namibian brands, Marathon Sugar, has been in the market for a long time. I mean, how many of us remember there's no sugar like Marathon Sugar? All of us remember it, you know. When we were young, it was there. Top Score has been there forever. It's part of our lives. We know it. And so these, at one point, they were small businesses as well. But they put these measures in place to make sure they developed a strategy so that they can be in the market long after the founder, or long after we were there marketing some of these products, long after that, that the product will still be in the market. So let me give you an example, for instance, in terms of commanding a premium. Tap water in Namibia, we did a quick calculation this morning. If my calculation is wrong, the city of Windhoek can please call me and give me the right calculation. But we called them, and they told us, so a kiloliter of water costs about $22.35. And so a liter is 2 cents, essentially, less than 2 cents. Okay. But bottled water, Oasis bottled water, still water, is $10.49. So you see that they've built a brand over time. The difference in that price from not even $1 to like over $10, that's what you get as you develop a brand. And for all the gentlemen out there, the Porsche Cayenne and the VW Touareg basically are made in the same factory. It's the same machine. It's the same machine, I hear. But the Porsche Cayenne is like 250K more, about 200 and something thousand more than the VW Touareg. So the VW Touareg is about 1.2 million, and the Porsche Cayenne is 1.5 million. See the difference in that. So the Porsche, just two different brands. The Porsche just garners, again, different target audience. VW Touareg, also a very different target audience. But look at that, it's literally the same car. Oh, I better not get caught saying these things. Anyway, let's run over to beers. We love beer in the country. Okay, I don't drink beer, so I can't say we. But we consume a lot of beer in Namibia, and I think I wanted to use like a Namibian example. Heineken, for instance, which is not a Namibian, but it was being distributed by breweries at some time. I don't know if they're still distributing it, but they were distributing Heineken. That's 40 Namibian dollars. Tafel Lager, 11. And this is a recommended selling price, right? So it would probably come from breweries themselves. And $12 for Windhoek Lager. Tafel Lager, on their target audience, that's the price. But look at Windhoek Lager. Now we're exporting Windhoek Lager to the US, we're in Germany, we're all over the world. But that's a premium brand competing very closely with Heineken. I mean, I don't know, I'm sure some of the men would say it probably tastes the same. It's like Snowflake and Bakpro. Yeah. The aunties in the south would say like twee verskillende goed, two very different things, but really very similar. So how do we build these strategies that bring us to this place where we can command a premium? Sorry. You basically need to develop some insights, gather some insights. Remember what I said right at the beginning is to understand my target audience, to understand the product that I have or the service or whatever company, what am I offering as a company, understand my offering, understand the target audience that I'm offering this product to, and then based on that, what you'll notice is we call it the room for growth. Where's the opportunity here? So if I have a product and I look into the market, I understand, okay, there is room for growth. In this time of COVID, we did some research now, and we realized that technology just boomed. There's opportunity for education, entrepreneurs in education, because we realize that a lot of the schools don't have technology. There's opportunity to provide technology solutions to schools. There's so many opportunities that just came out of, no, actually they didn't come out of nowhere. They were always there. We just never saw them. Now the opportunity has been put in front of us and we can garner that. So it's understanding what is it that I do and for who do I do it? Very important. Everything starts with that. If my brand is not relevant or my product is not relevant to the target audience, I probably won't sell anything. And then I'm thinking I don't have the right thing. Many times it's just the right product in the wrong market. It could be, you know, the right market, wrong day, I don't know. So it's really understanding all of that. And then positioning is really what makes you different from your competitor in that market. After we've done that, we have to set some objectives. So what is it that I want to achieve? From a sales point of view, we would like have a campaign, for instance, a promotion where we're selling a specific product. Client will tell us, okay, Margaret, let's take, for example, I've seen that there's a lot of hair products now for natural hair in the market. So let's take, for instance, one of the ladies who's making this product, or gentleman, could be, I can't be so, yeah, so small-minded, okay, short-sighted. And say, for instance, they want to sell more product in the market. They run a campaign for 3 months, and they say, okay, I want to make 20% more revenue off this hair product. Denise, don't worry, it's just for my kind of hair. There's a specific shampoo, and there's a specific hair food, and all of that, and you have to curl it in some plastic bag so that you can feed the hair. It's nice. And from there, I set an objective that I want to grow my revenue by 20%. So what must this lady do? Or what must this gentleman do, this business owner? It's really, what do I have? I've got this hair range, a hair product range for African women, for Namibian African women, or let's not only look at Namibia also at this point, because from a market point of view, we've got such a small market, and don't we all complain that, oh, Namibia is so small, I can't sell my product here. So don't just look at it from just the Namibian market. You know, you could have a bank actually funding you to grow your market outside of Namibia. So she wants to do this, and then she needs to look at who am I speaking to? So I'm speaking to these women. How do I make myself different? We grew up with Black Like Me and all those other brands. I can't remember because I use a Namibian product now. So you've got all these products that are in the shop already. They've been entrenched into us for such a long time. Now I need to make sure that I position myself differently, and not only because you are Namibian. Because at the end of the day, yes, you are Namibian. It gives you, I think, 1% of a point. The reality is you need to compete with the guys that have been in the market already for such a long time, and make sure that you stand out. And make sure that Namibian people are able to say, the Namibian women are able to say, you know what, I'm going to go for this Namibian product. Not because it's Namibian, but because it meets a need and a want that I've had. And then I develop my messaging. And I think you will speak on it. Brendan will speak on messaging. How do you develop your message, making sure that you're still relevant in the market? And then the marketing mix. Now, the marketing mix is really, how am I going to do it? And that focuses on your product, your price, your promotion. Many of us think marketing is just my logo. We think marketing is how I communicate to the target audience, how I get people to sell my product. But as I said in the beginning, it's determining who my target audience is, what my product is, who I'm speaking to, what are their needs and their wants. And then number 3, how do I fulfill those needs and wants better than my competition? So let me just quickly run through the 7 Ps. From a product point of view, consider your packaging. Make sure you can differentiate your product on your packaging. Consider your labeling, especially when you have a see-through, like this bottle, for instance. What is the labeling that you put on there? We've got a lot of Namibian water. So if you're going to create a premium product, you want to sell it to the Stellenbosch restaurants of Windhoek, make sure that your product is well labeled and it really looks nice for them to say, you know what, maybe I do want this product in there. And then number 2, under product as well, consider your after-sale service. Let's take, for example, I sell the hair products. And she gives me my full range, everything, moisturizer, what have you. And then after that, I need to know, what guarantee do I get for using this product? If the first time you use it, you know how they used to say, relaxer, just use a little bit and then check if it breaks your hair. If it does break your hair, maybe don't use it again, use another product. But it's that, test it and see if it works. If I have a problem with the product, who do I call? Who do I contact? Where do I give my complaints? Or even my kudos to the product. So from a Namibian point of view, let me say I go to Single Quarters on a Sunday and I want to go have kapana. Now there's 7 guys selling kapana. I've never seen ladies though, but 7 guys selling kapana. And now as a target, many of the guys I know, they love to go to Single Quarters and we stand there and we get our kapana and we eat it and we go home. Whereas others would love to go to Kalitura, but then they'll go to La Kwama, who is also a traditional food restaurant, and you go and eat kapana there. Same thing, but very different way of offering it. So when we come to place, I will describe that as well. So again, the product after sales, if anything happens, if I didn't get the amount, you say a kilogram for $10 and I didn't get it, where do I complain? That after sales service is very important. And then price, consider your discounts, consider the fact, when do you break even, your cost versus how much you sell the product for. Make sure you get your pricing right for the target audience that you have. Then place. What we've noticed now with after COVID is that many people went online. During COVID, especially with Fresh o'clock at night at Grove, all other stores probably 5, 6. But during the COVID time, nobody could go. You didn't want to go to the shop. There was a lot of uncertainty. And I know one company was putting together a little box with all your veggies in there, and they would deliver it. So you go online, you pick what you want, they put it together for you, and they deliver it to your house. See how place in the past, when you made a product, you made sure that you got into retail. You got into Checkers, you got into Pick n Pay, you got into Woemanbrock, you got into all these different stores. Now, there's room for online malls. There's room to create a mall where all the SME products can actually be sold on. And I think from business's point of view, it's creating a place where it's no longer, I don't have to go there. I can just click, make sure that my product comes to me. It's more a matter of delivery. And even now, there was a company that was started, I think during COVID or a little bit before COVID, I think it's Chomi Bites. Chomi Bites. They deliver your food. So you order from, what's that place? Burger Eats in Kommersdal, I think they're in Kommersdal. And then they'll deliver it to your house, and there you have your burger. I don't need to go sit at Burger Eats. And I think it made us a little bit, so convenience is starting to play a key role. So with place, consider where your target market is and how do I access that target market most effectively. Coca-Cola back in the day said, Coke, arm's length away from my consumer. So an arm's length, that means Coke must be everywhere where there is people. Where there are people, Coke must be there. So I shouldn't travel 2 arm's lengths. Lengths? Lengths?
Lengths.
Lengths. I shouldn't travel 2 arm's lengths away from, in order to get a Coke. And then promotion. This is where advertising comes in. This is where your sales strategy comes in. This is where your social media comes in. So this is basically deciding, how do I make sure people know about me? It's creating awareness about my product, my service, or wherever it is that I am. So I didn't know about Burger Eats, and I'm throwing Namibian brand names, and I know I'm in just food. That day I met with a lady, and she said to me, no, she runs this Burger Eats joint, and where is it? It's in Kommersdal. And I'm like, no, I'll never drive to Kommersdal to buy a burger. I wouldn't do it. So clearly, not that I'm not her target audience. She's like, no, but we deliver. Perfect. Deliver the burger to Kleine Cooper. She tells me what the price is, and now I know. So the day when I'm list for a burger, I will call, and they will deliver it to my house. So how does she market herself? She's on social media. She's all over social media. And the way she markets herself on social media is so appetizing that after I left that meeting, I actually went to look her up, and I ordered a burger from downstairs just because I wanted a burger after seeing the advertising, the way she does it. So there are a lot of companies in Namibia who do their promotion so well. Many people are just on social media, but just be careful that you're not just on social media when your target audience isn't on social media. I don't know if you have figures, Brendan, of just the amount of social media followers or social media, how many people are on Facebook, on Twitter, etc. in Namibia. It's not as big as other markets. So very well. You know what their needs are, you know what their wants are, you miss a whole opportunity. No, you're going to get a discount of 50%. So how I package my message will be determined at this stage. Okay? And then people become important, your staff, how you putting your people together internally. Make sure that you have the right people at the right place. Very important. We who work within organizations, determine whether this brand promise or this brand will make it in society. So as brand owners or as company owners, we need to make sure our people are trained. They know where, if somebody calls us and says, Margaret, we didn't get our product. You said it was supposed to be arriving yesterday. So it's not a matter of, oh, I don't work in logistics. Please don't bother me right now. So how do I get that person? I mean, in South Africa now, there's this new brand called Batu Shoes. Like, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a sneaker store. This guy was a chartered accountant. He worked in Dubai, came back, and he says, no, we need to have some sneakers in South Africa. The way they work, like you put in an order, the way they come back to you, so that after-sales service is so important. And your people are the ones who will determine how quickly that turnaround is done. Training is important. Everybody must understand, especially with service organizations. I can't just sit, the receptionist doesn't know what's going on. The next person doesn't know what's going on. The worst is calling someone and you get put through 5 places before. So, you guys don't know it. You don't experience it.
No, we do.
You have experienced it. Okay. Have you experienced it? I've experienced it. And you don't know how to get to the person that will just help you. Our internet is off. Who do we call? So get your people aligned. Induction. When they join the company, this is what we do. This is how we deliver. So do you want to join us? You might work late nights. Are you happy to do that? No? Okay, then maybe this is not the place for you. Yes? Then you must be held accountable to it. So the day when you have to work late and it's your husband's birthday. Anyway, moving on. So the processes. Very important is to, in order for the people to understand, let's write processes. Let's sit down, think about it. Let me take, for example, Kapana. Where do I get my meat? When do I order it? What is the process that I use to get the right meat, the proper meat? It tastes healthy, it's good. And so that I don't come on that day. One day I got it from Spa, or the other day I got it from Tate Huhu, and the other day I got it from Meme Huhu, and then the meat doesn't taste the same. So that consistency is very important, and consistency can only be created through the processes we put in place within our companies and within our organizations. So very key. And then COVID has taught us that it's very important to build partnerships. We will not be able, I think the era of working alone, one-man shows, is sort of going away slowly but surely. So now we can partner together. I had a logistics company. Brendan had a product. I was just providing maybe logistics to a tourism company. Now I've got this fleet of vehicles. What can I do with it? But Brendan says, you know what, Margaret, I've got hair products for African women. I got hair products and I want to sell it. I want to send it to all of Kadatura. Now I've got access to Kadatura. I go there every day. I was going there for Kadatura tours. So I partner with Brendan. And I now take Brendan's product into Kadatura, make sure it gets sold and it's at the right place at the right time. So look for partnerships. Don't be afraid to form those partnerships. And very important, if you're not going to network, it's going to be very difficult for you to know who's who in the zoo. I mean, like I literally found out about Burger Eats the other day. I'm finding out a lot of stuff lately since I've become a bit older the other day. So very important is partnership. So I just want to sum it up, and I don't know if there are questions people can ask after this, but sum it up. Understand the product that you have. Understand the need that this product is meeting. Really understand the target audience. What you notice is now on social media, I'm sure Brendan is going to touch that, you'll get a lot of information on who is actually following you, what are they engaging with on your social media product there, and go find out information about the people that you are targeting. Find out the needs, find out their wants, find out what it is that they really, really need. And that information is available everywhere. Ask your bank. Okay, I'm going to ask Standard Bank. Ask your bank. They're sitting with a lot of information. And that is essentially it. That is my story.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important story. We have I have a question here.
Yeah.
Chantal is asking, how do you determine which is the best platform to reach your target market?
Okay, I think that will be determined by what is the function of every platform if we're looking at social media. And then I would rather pass that question to Brendan because he's going to touch on it.
Okay.
But it's really determining what's the best platform. Is my target audience on Twitter, Facebook? Where are they? Like, there's no point if I'm talking to corporate leaders and I'm on Facebook and all of them are on LinkedIn, I've missed them completely. So it's just, if Brendan, you want to add something, then
Yeah.
please go ahead.
We'll go through that when it's his presentation. But I just want to ask you, from your experience, do you think small business owners realize the importance of marketing?
I think to a certain extent now they're realizing it. I think I think there was a lot of the questions I asked a few people is that many of them didn't understand how marketing adds to my business.
Yeah.
Does it really add value, or is it just a matter of, many of us just have a product, we have a product and we put it out there. For us, we were very clear as Cornerstone, we want to work with business leaders who make the decision around marketing and brands.
Yeah.
Because the business leader, the CEO, is many times the custodian and the ambassador of that brand. So if he doesn't know what's going on or what we're doing for the company, there's always something that misses. Or we work with the highest person that makes a decision around brands.
Yeah.
So be very clear, and I think now we're getting it. I think we're getting it. We're getting
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think what's happened has forced people to revisit their business models and,
Yes.
and how they do business, and also what I've touched on earlier is how consumer, how that has changed. Our
Yeah.
needs and wants have changed.
Yes.
And from my experience, what I've spoken to people is that we're not going to go back to how we did things before. People still think we're going to go back to how things were. But I think people need to realize that consumers now, health, obviously, and how much something costs is foremost on mind. Thrift spending is what we're seeing.
Yes.
And we also expect a lot more value for our products.
Yes. Yes.
And also, and I think there's a lot to capitalize on these things because of what you say that, you know, deliveries, even if you order and somebody comes to your shop and come and pick it up, even if you just do that, a lot of people still not comfortable paying online and having you delivered and then half the stuff is not there. The trust issue is still very much up front. But I mean, you can still get the order together and they come pick it up at your door or whatever. But that is not going, that convenience,
Yes.
what we've experienced, online learning, those things, online for a lot of people it's a convenience, that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And we need to adjust what we do around those changes.
Yeah. Can I just add quickly to
yes.
that, Desiree? I think what we noticed is, I mean, some research that I just read recently on flux trends is that, especially with the convenience element,
Yeah.
again, understand your target audience, because many people are not understanding their target audience,
Yeah.
and then you lose it completely. So many people actually said, you know what, I prefer to work from the office, and especially with us Namibians.
Yeah.
Like you said, when I walked in today, you said to me, yes, I just miss hugging people.
Yes.
You know, so that kind of, we are very, how would you say, touchy-feely people as Namibians. So very key, although these things have been put in place, I agree with you, the health has shot through the roof. I see more people walking today every afternoon in my area than I did in the past before COVID. So many people are about their health, the food we eat, convenience of in terms of getting that food.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of the fresh produce is sold more in different places. It's no longer just at the one store. But people still want to work. They want to go to the office. They want to work with people, a great majority of that. Many people are looking to start their businesses. They feel that it's better for me to start my business because of the convenience.
Yes.
So you've got that, you know, I mean, I want to, especially the young people, want to start my own business because it's more convenient for me to be my own boss.
Yeah.
And then they say, but if I work for somebody, the most important thing is actually my salary. How much are you going to pay me for me to add value to your business? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also that there's a huge shift towards the local community, the community sense of community. Everybody out there, we're in this together. We need to stand together. So I think, you know, all the business owners out there need to capitalize on this because it's like the solidarity feeling that people have out there. So thank you so much. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions for you. I don't know if any of you want to pose a question to Margaret.
Trying to add something?
Yeah, he's going to have lots of time to talk. All right, we're going to, before we start with we're going to go into a break, but before we do that, I just want to have Standard Bank announce our winner of our last competition. It was that survival kit with the goodies that Standard Bank gave to the value of $10,000. And our winner that we've identified is Vilna Nangombe. So congratulations, Vilna.
Congratulations, Vilna. We will be in contact with you in terms of how to come and claim your prize, and we will be you will be receiving during the course of tomorrow an email from our marketing department to give you the detail towards that claiming your prize, and we look forward to take some pictures with you. And also then publish it in our next webinar for next month. So thank you so much for participating, and I hope that you are tuned today. So congratulations to you.
Okay, so everybody live out there, please go onto your competition link, and you can answer the first question already. And we're going to have a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm good, boss. Thank you. Select Pay Merchant, select Manual Entry, enter the merchant ID, select Payment Method, wallet or card, confirm and complete payment.
Ek soek gou vir jou.
How's it, boss? I'm good, boss. Thank you. Select Pay Merchant, select Manual Entry, enter the merchant ID, select Payment Method, wallet or card, confirm and complete payment.
Okay, thank you everybody. I hope you're all back and you had a quick run to get some water. We're carrying on with our next speaker, and that's Brendan Immich. Just a short introduction. Creating success and inspiring significance on stage, in business and throughout life. Brendan Immich has for the last 15 years just done that. He's former board member of Team Namibia and Pambili Young Designers, the founding president of the Namibian Electronic Sports Association, and was a founding board member and past president of the Professional Speaker Association of Namibia. He started various online businesses, digital platforms and communities, and is a branding and marketing consultant and speaker. With that, I'm handing over to Brandon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to thank Standard Bank for this opportunity, and I think this whole series is an incredible opportunity for the country as well. So if you have tuned in, and if you're watching this, and for those who might watch later in the recording, I think what is going to be shared and what has been shared and what will be shared in the future is going to be very helpful for you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or even if you are working within your own organization or company. I do believe that there'll be a lot of really good nuggets that you can pull out of this that you can use, not just for this year, but for going forward in the future. So I'm going to look at digital marketing strategy. And before I do that, I want to tell just a short story. So a couple of years ago, when my daughter turned 1 year old, I have two children, and she is the youngest. So she was 1. I think my son was 3 at the time. We decided as a family to go to Taiwan, where my wife is from, to go visit her family and show the children off. And I think we were going for, it was a 2-week or a 3-week holiday that we went on. We'd worked very hard. The beginning of the year, my wife is in retail, so we don't really get to have a December holiday because that's our busiest time of the year. So this was it. We were going to go in March. We're going to have this nice holiday. We planned nothing, absolutely nothing. We just knew we were going to go and we were going to be there with family, and then we just basically, we'll wing it. We'll wing what we're going to do. So we went. It was a nightmare flying with 2 small children. It's a very long flight. And essentially, we got to Taiwan and we got to see all the family, and all those formalities were over within 3 or 4 days. And then we sat there and we were like, well, what are we going to do now? We're like, well, let's see tomorrow. So tomorrow comes, you pull up Google or something and you look at what activities you are. You waste the whole morning deciding what you're going to do. You go in the afternoon and it wasn't what you expected. And then that night you say, what are we going to do tomorrow? And this happened almost for like 2 full weeks. Like we had no plan. And I realized when we came back, we finally came back, and my wife said, never again are we going to travel with children while they're this age and while they're still small. But please, we have to organize and we have to have a plan when we go on holiday. And so after that, I learned a very hard lesson. Obviously, when I was single, I would wing it. I would go on holiday and book the first place I was going to stay in and the last day's place, and the rest of the time you just kind of go and do whatever you want. But I realized I needed to be more strategic when it came to holidays. So now whether I'm traveling for business and I might have a day or two off between flights or so on, I plan a month ahead of time exactly which coffee shops I want to go to. I look at the reviews and I say I want to go buy this at this shop and I want to do this. And I have a plan, I have a strategy in place. And since I've been doing that, I've had much more successful holidays than just winging it in the morning and deciding where to go. And I think we have to, the lesson I learned from that is something that I should have known because I've been applying this in business for the last 20 years, but that you have to have a strategy, you have to have a plan. And so going forward with my presentation, I do want to just give this quote from that's adapted from Peter Drucker, and he's probably one of the forefathers of modern business, and he says that the aim of digital marketing is to know and understand your online customers so well that your products and services fit them perfectly that they basically sell themselves. And the idea of a marketing strategy is that you want your products and services to almost sell themselves. And the way you do that is by strategically working out exactly what it is that you need to do in order to have a plan and a strategy in place that you can apply all these different tactics and hacks and tricks and tips that you'll get online or from fellow colleagues in that in marketing is how to put all of that together so at the end of the day you can maximize the potential that your products and services have. This is either in their reach or in how they help people, how they fulfill their needs and wants, as Margaret had mentioned in her presentation. But that is essentially what marketing is. And so what I'm going to try to do today is to give you 4 key components that you need to put together that formalize your marketing strategy so that you can bring in more business in this year and in the years to come. So before I continue that, I have prepared a bit of a cheat sheet. So that's it's a sheet that's just going to help you just go through with my presentation. You can download it. The link should be in the description in YouTube and in the Discord chat, or should be on your screen is a QR code scan. If you're on desktop, you can scan it with your phone and you can follow that on as I go, because hopefully that will just make it more practical and you'll have something. And you can also take that and use it in future. So the first thing I want to look at is context, and Margaret did a phenomenal job of introducing this. What context is your target audience or your target market. These are the people, this is the group of people that are the easiest people to sell to, the people that you've already sold to, who potentially will be the easiest people to sell your product and service to. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's the simplest place to market to. You need to identify that. And there are multiple ways that you can go about it. And the first thing is that you can look at analytics, you can look at stats, you can look at your products and services and see who's my best audience and who's the best person I could sell to. But probably the best way to go through it is to run through a list of all the different aspects of what an audience could be. And in the sheet that I prepared, you'll see there's a whole bunch, and I'll name some of them. You could look at, for example, are they male or female or other? What is their age group? Are they under 18, or they're 18 to 25, 25 to 40, 45 to 60? Maybe they're retirees and they're over the age of 60. That's maybe one way to look at it. What about their education? What about their job title? What about their interests that they do? And the more of these elements of the context of your audience and your your target market, the more of these components you put together, the more focused you can be, and the easier it will be then to take all of your marketing activities and focus them just onto that one. And I'll give a practical example that once we've gone through these first 4 elements of your strategy. And let me just say this, before I go into the next one, I just want to say is that a perfectly executed marketing plan on the wrong audience will yield less results than a poorly delivered plan to the right audience. And I'll give a perfect example of this, and you use Kapana, I'm going to use a very similar one. So we should have had taken notes. I said a perfectly grilled T-bone steak is going to sell far less orders than a half-baked spinach pie at a vegetarian restaurant. So it's knowing your audience. It is so important. Then the next one you can look at is cadence. Now, cadence is basically the style of your business. It's how your brand is represented. It's the personality, the tone of voice that your brand brings across. Whether you're formal or you're more casual, whether you're very energetic or you're more motivational and inspirational. This will determine the kind of content you're going to create. It will also determine what platform you're going to use. And it is important to understand the style that your business is going to be operating in. Whether you refer to yourself in the first person or third person when you're posting on social media is all coming back to the cadence, the style, the tonality of your marketing. And I want to say is that people don't necessarily know what they like, but they like what they know. And if you're creating a style for a certain target audience, create your style, your brand, your voice in a way that they know. Because just because you think being hyper energetic and super creative and being almost silly when you're marketing to CEOs, you might think it's a good idea, but if they don't know that, if that's not what they want, then that is the wrong style for it. So as an example, a pop song in a foreign language is more likely to top a local pop chart than a heavy metal track in the local language.
Yeah.
And that's just because people don't know what they like what they know. So if they can vibe with the music, they might not necessarily understand the words, but if they can vibe with it and they can feel that this is familiar, that's going to do way better. And there's so many examples on the pop charts of this happening. So it's important to get that style right. The next thing I want to speak about is your channel. Now, the channel is what somebody was asking, Margaret, which platform do I pick? Which channel do I use? And the importance there is finding a channel that is associated with your audience and that also allows you to portray your marketing and all your activities in the cadence that you want, in the style and the language that you want. And you used the example of LinkedIn. If LinkedIn is generally regarded as a more formal, as a more business-orientated environment. So if you've bought a jumping castle, for example, and you're going to do children's parties, I don't think LinkedIn would be the best platform for you. It's finding the right channel that is right for your audience and right for the style that you want to bring to it. So the right channel might not also always be the most popular. I think that is something that so many people want to jump onto whatever's the next bandwagon, whatever's the most popular thing. But the important thing to realize is the channel that's best for you might not necessarily be the most important one. Only posting photos because that's what the cool kids are doing isn't going to help you if your audience or your market is blind.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to take that into consideration. So that's just using the right channel. And I'll give some practical examples of this just now. The last one I want to look at is the actual content, the actual things that you're going to be posting, what are those adverts going to look like? What are those posters, those designs, your videos, what are they actually going to look like? And it's a kind of a rule of thumb that content is king. We know it. And I think during the pandemic, we've realized because so many people were online and because so many people were consuming content online, we realized just how important it is to have the right content that speaks the right language, that speaks to the right people, and that is going to the right channel. So content will always produce 100% of results 100% of the time. Yeah. What those results will be determined by the type of content you share. So if you're not sharing content, your content is still producing results, you're just getting nothing. Yeah. But having the right content, once again, you can have brilliant content, but if it's marketed to the wrong audience, it's not going to produce the results that you want. So we have to figure out how do we create a marketing strategy that will make sure that we are producing content that is the right content but goes to the right people to have maximum return on investment for that. So these are the 4 areas that I want to focus on. I'm going to give a very practical example of how to do that, and hopefully at the end of it give you that you can do it yourself and have a 1-sentence marketing strategy for your business. So that's my aim for the next few minutes. So we're going to look at contents, we're going to look at cadence, channel, and the content. So to sum up those 4 things, you could look at it in this way. The unique content you create within a defined context, delivered via a channel with a specific cadence, is the foundation of a successful digital marketing strategy in 2021. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fictional business, and we're going to use this fictional business to produce and to make and build a marketing strategy for them. So this is a small business. This is Margaret's business. And Margaret creates handcrafted hardwood bead jewelry designed to be fashionable, affordable, available in natural wood. It's finished in natural colors. It has antibacterial properties. It's safe for children and even for teething babies. They are environmentally friendly too. There's a large range of necklaces and bracelets that you're making, and then you have seasonable gifts as well. This is Margaret's business. We don't have a name yet. Do you have a name for your business? Margaret's Beads.
Margaret's Beads.
Margaret's Beads. So I'm going to take Margaret's Beads as this business, And we're going to apply these 4 areas of content and cadence and context and which channel to use to best market your business so that you can have a successful business in 2021 and going forward. Does that sound like a good idea? Yes, let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right, so the first thing is context. So let's just say that for the context for this product, these beads, which are, they're safe for children, they can be used as teething beads, they're fashionable, they're just simple to wear, they're big and bulky, they're not fine and dainty. So women aged 25 to 40 probably are women who are that are married and have children, most likely. They are very busy, have a very busy lifestyle, and have very little free time because you have children. And this is now your audience. And your audience is, they're conscious about the environment and about sustainability. So this now we have a context. We have a context. We need to know that the people that we're trying to reach, who are the easiest people that we can reach who are female, that are women between the age of 25 and 40, who have busy lifestyles, but also do have small children, but they also care about the environment. So that's the context that we're going to speak to. The next is what style? What is going to be this voice that we're going to use? Well, mothers generally with small children, they have to keep things fun and lighthearted. You can't be too super serious. I have 2 children, and I spend a lot of time with my children because my wife and I have shared the responsibility of raising our children, so half day. And they can drive you up the wall, but most times they can make you just laugh all the time. But you have a stressful life as a parent, and as a mother with small ones, she probably wants something that's lighthearted, but also at the same time want to be conscious of the environment and that. So that's kind of the approach that you want to take. So the language and the style, the vocabulary that you're going to use, the kind of the imagery you want to create needs to be casual, fun, and that's because that is best will suit your product and match it to your audience. So let's take that. So now we have a context. We know what style that we want to do. Now let's put that into what channel are we going to use for it. Would LinkedIn be the best channel for this? Most probably not, because LinkedIn is regarded as being more business orientated. It's more focused on people who are in career. And I'm not saying that women with small children don't have a career, but I think that if you're going to be selling to them, there's a more likely chance that they're going to be on other platforms. So you want to find a platform that appeals visually because it's jewelry. It's where women are already getting fashion advice or looking for fashion trends and so on. And also, you want to make it fun and you want to make it casual. So my recommendations for this would be Instagram because of the visual aspect of it. And then TikTok, because TikTok is fun and there's a lot of mothers on there and there's a lot of content there where mothers are creating content with their children. If you're creating content that has, your jewelry on, mothers wearing this jewelry while you're, having fun with your children, that's a great way to sell the product. So that would be my suggestion for channel. Facebook, I don't even include Facebook because Facebook is regarded as old media. If you're not on Facebook, there's something really wrong with your marketing. Facebook is a given. Yeah. I think if you're not on Facebook, you have to reconsider your business plan and your marketing plan. So Facebook is basically just a given thing that you should be. So we're looking at other platforms, which is other platforms that will work well. So Instagram and TikTok is what I'm selecting for this Margaret Beads business. Right. Then the last one then is to look at what kind of content, because this so many times gets people very frustrated. They sit there in the morning, they want to post something on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and they're like, I have no idea what I'm going to post. I have no... They then land up, spending a half an hour to an hour looking at other people's content, and then you've done nothing. So content is important. What kind of content would we create to sell Margaret's beads? Well, the first thing is maybe fun stories about mothers and their children. And I'll give an example as a video that you could do where a day in the life of Margaret and her little princess. And so these are going to be maybe a couple of photographs that are taken, and this can either be staged or could be real photos from real families. And along with that, you can post photos, you can tell an interesting story, and then you incorporate your jewelry into that story. And I think that when you start looking at the content you create within your context and the style, your cadence, as well as what channel are you going to be doing it in, it becomes far less overwhelming. Because if you think, I have to do a YouTube video, and the YouTube video only really gets results if it's 7 to 10 minutes long, how do I do a YouTube video for jewelry? It's going to be very difficult, whereas you can go on TikTok and you only need 15 seconds. And that would be so much easier for a business owner just to say, I'll do a quick 15-second video clip that can promote my business and my products. So I think finding these 4 areas and being able to look at your cadence, look at your context and the channel and the content you're going to share, if you can incorporate those into a way that allows you to have a focus, it will make your strategy so much easier, because you have to have you need to have such a laser beam focus if you want your marketing to work. Otherwise, you're going to waste time and money and effort. So let's just put these 4 aspects put them into a quadrant, because it's a little bit easier to use this as a way to strategize. A lot of people are familiar with things like a SWOT analysis, and they know how these quadrants work. And so I'm going to look at this, that right in the top corner we have women between the age of 24 and 40, and 25 to 40 years, and they're mothers. That's our target, that's our context. We want the content to be casual and fun. That's kind of going to be our style. And then we're going to use Instagram and TikTok as our primary channel that we're going to use, and then we're going to do photo stories. And I've picked, for example, photo stories because a mother doesn't necessarily have time to have cameras set up and the whole thing. You're not going to have a film crew, and you're not going to try make another Ryan's World or something like that. So it really just photos. A mother has a phone with her. She's going to shoot these photos. So if you had to take this example of Margaret's beads, this would be how I would create a strategy for Margaret's beads, and it would sound something like this: create casual and fun photo story content for Instagram and TikTok that is quick to watch and relatable to 25 to 40-year-old mothers. That's your marketing strategy. Everything else that you do, whether you say, I want to post today on TikTok, you go and look at your strategy and say, am I going to make the content I'm making, is it going to be fun? Is it going to be casual? Is it going to be quick to watch? And will this be relatable to mothers who are in this age group? And for every activity you do, if you're going to do a newspaper advertisement, if you're going to create a jingle for radio, if you're going to be creating any digital content, you have this strategy in front of you. Print it out, put it above your workstation, have it, some people even put their business strategies as a screensaver for their phone, so every time they look at their phone, it's front of mind. Because if you can have that laser focus, you can then build everything else. All the tactics and the hacks and the tricks and the tips and everything else will fall under this business strategy. So what I want to encourage the viewers to do is to take these 4 things, look at your business, look at all 4 areas, and then create a 1-sentence business strategy for you. This will help you immensely take out the stress of every single day trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do for my marketing. This will also allow you to plan marketing a week in advance, a month in advance, 6 weeks in advance, 6 months in advance, because you have a strategy in place. And so by building and combining the 4 C's into a single sentence, this is the easiest way to remember it and to be able to build your strategy. And this is not just for this year, this will be for forever. And I like the way you opened your presentation, Margaret, with saying that even though the pandemic has shown up a lot of things, one of the things that it has shown is that there are some things that will never change in business. And I think these 4 things speak to that. Lastly, quickly in a minute, I just want to say that these 4 areas of your marketing strategy are not in silos, and they don't stand apart. They influence one another. Because as your content changes, you might realize that your channel is different. Because maybe what you realize, you're making beads, we'll use the beads example, you were making beads for mothers, but in 5 years' time, those mothers don't have small children anymore. They don't need teething beads. They don't need teething beads anymore. They might want jewelry that they can wear to the office. And so maybe that means you're going to change your product and you're going to change that. But then maybe LinkedIn becomes an opportunity for you to market to. But that might also mean your cadence has to change. Yeah. And as your cadence changes, your content is going to change. And then your context is going to change. So it's fluid. It's constantly changing and evolving. And your business strategy and your marketing strategy should be fluid as well. It should change with the times. It shouldn't be too rigid that there's no room for you to move in it. Yeah. So to close off, let me say this. If months ago you did not create a digital marketing strategy, the next best time to do so is today. Your future self and business will thank you. And with that, I say thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Yes, most definitely. But, the questions out there that somebody has posed is, I'm getting to Margaret's beads now. I've started Margaret's beads now. And what do I need? I'm not a photographer. I'm technologically and skills. What do I need to produce these videos? Or how am I going to go about that?
You need a mobile phone. So you need your, I mean, obviously the better quality phone is going to have a better quality camera, but one of the things that is often argued about is quality over quantity. And when it comes to marketing for small business owners, SMEs, for people that don't have big budget, I would say that quantity far exceeds the quality of your post that you put out there.
Okay.
I know a lot of people will argue and say, no, they have to, rather do less but have high quality. But that's not always possible.
Okay.
You might not have the right gear. You might not have the writing skills to do, 2,000 word, posted article. But to do 200 characters on Twitter or 260 characters on Twitter is doable. So I would say to get started, you need a phone. That's obviously going to connect you online. So whatever way you get online, I don't think having the most expensive camera, having the most expensive equipment, you don't need to have, like I said, a half-baked spinach pie is going to sell better than a perfectly grilled T-bone steak. So I would say if you've got an old phone that still can take videos, that is perfectly fine. But be consistent. So if you decide you're going to post something every single day, then post every single day. It doesn't matter if the quality is not 100% perfect. I think when you're oftentimes people say that, oh, but I don't have great quality content, but my personality is great. Well, then let your personality come out first. And let your personality sell your product and your brand. And don't get too caught up in, maybe the people feel like they don't speak well enough or they have a weird accent or something like that. And rather just put out a lot of content. It doesn't have to be brilliant content. And then over time you can improve.
Okay, you've actually answered the other question that came through about content and quality, what's more important. And yes, and they're all agreeing about time and planning is key. Okay, so they're all agreeing with you there. I just want to have a look and see if there's any questions on the Discord. No, there are no questions there. Okay, Brendan, that seems that those are the
Thank
questions.
you.
If there are any more questions, please, you can still pose the questions. We can carry on as they come through. I just want to remind you that the second question, you can answer the competition question, will now be up, so you can answer that question. And remember, courtesy of Standard Bank, it's a marketing plan pack worth 5,000 Namibia dollars. It will be announced at our next talk, which will be in April. So we're going to have a short break again, and we will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done.
For 1 in every 5 underprivileged Namibians, only a handful are likely to reach their dreams. And for the Buy a Brick initiative, the hope of enhancing the reality of those dreamers has come to light.
Where we were staying before, there's no electricity. When I'm comparing the life where I was living before and the way I am now, I can just cook anytime I feel like. Morning time when I wake up, everything to me is available. Water, electricity, I can do everything when I'm preparing my cup of coffee, just to switch on the kettle, when I'm just take shower and go for my training. I'm really happy when I'm just wake up and then I'm next to my house. It's really make my life to move forward.
Giving a positive outlook on Namibian lives has never been more possible. With Standard Bank, it can be. To contribute to this initiative, purchase a pair of Buy a Brick footprint socks for only 100 Namibian dollars. Help make a shack-free Namibia possible.
As a kid from the streets of Mondesa, it took one belief, one dream, and one seed of aspiration planted in the right mind. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. It takes heart to never give up. It takes bravery to persevere. It can be difficult. It can be testing. It can be a long, winding road filled with ups and downs. But with everything that it is, with the right attitude, the right mindset, and belief, anything is possible.
If you believe, it can be. What are you saving for, baby?
My future learning.
Oh, good thing we got your own Digi Youth account already, ne? So now you can bank like grown-ups, okay?
Most money I'm rich.
Please don't go live yet. My presentation is not sorted. I cannot see, so then I cannot talk.
Papa, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Wow, really? What is that, my baby?
I want to be president of the whole world.
Okay, my baby, I hear you. But come over here, let me explain something to you. You see, it's very tough being a president, so you'll have to study very hard. Are you up to it?
Oh man, I got this.
Oh, okay, if you're serious, then we have to start saving for your future. But I know what we're going to do. We will open a Digi Youth account at Standard Bank. We are going to start saving for your future already. I know what we are going to do. Or what do you say, Madam President?
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah, David.
Is it on the stage? Around my head, that is right.
Hello, everybody. We're back in studio for our last presentation, and I want to introduce to you Felicia Uester, Manager of Enterprise Direct from Standard Bank. She directs a team of business bankers tasked to bring SME customers into the digital fold, servicing them via email, telephone, and SMS. She sees her current position as another step in following a passion to develop leadership and grow the Namibian entrepreneur. Over to you, Felicia.
Thank you so much, Desiree and team. The presentations thus far has really been delightful. I'm amongst two very good gurus in terms of the digital world. So in terms of what the bank has to offer to help you as an SME becoming more digitally savvy, we will do a presentation today and just speak a little bit about PayPal and how it can help your business saving on cash and also being able to use the abilities of PayPal to market your business. And I saw Brandon using the QR code, so we are in PayPal, we also use QR code in terms of scan. So this is things that you can do in terms of incorporating it on your website or on your page where you are marketing, whether it is on an Instagram or so for payment purposes. So today we're going to talk a little bit about PayPal. You saw the little video clips that we've been playing up until now. It's really easy to use. We have a site called paypals.com.na where if you maybe forgot how to use it, maybe forgot how to install the QR abilities and SnapScan for your business, the easy guides are on that website for easy use and distribution. It's accessible to any Namibian, obviously across the world. So in terms of PayPal is just a little bit in terms of our security. So yes, our security is A+ away. You do not have to worry about that part. It complies with all the regulatory policies and items that we need to comply with, inclusive of the POPI Act, which everybody, if you use that Act's name, then everybody wants to run away. But it does comply with all the regulatory security features. You don't have to worry about that, and all payments are traceable to be paid back or recuperated. So in terms of what you can use PayPal for, so for personal use, you can, as well as business use, and this is the nice thing for SMEs, is you can link any 3 bank accounts Doesn't matter if it's a Bank Windhoek or an FNB, you can link it to PayPal. So PayPal is not purely just for Standard Bank accounts. So we are well aware for businesses specifically in Namibia that the tenacity is towards more using various bank accounts because there's various offers at each bank. So we have included that in our solution for you in terms of the PayPal application. So unfortunately, you still do have to have a core Standard Bank account, but in addition, you can add any of your other accounts, whether it is a Nedbank, FNB, or alternatively Bank Windhoek account to your PayPal's wallet. So PayPal can also definitely be used for merchant. You will see that most of the pharmacies in Namibia, we have also given them the Pay the Merchant application, which is using the QR code, especially when we were in level 1 lockdown. They were able to dispatch medicine without touching anybody using the Pay Merchant application, and that really worked well. Up until now, we are not keeping ahead of doctors and medical staff asking for this application. Because of the fact that it gives you the ability to receive your payments and also make a payment without having to touch or face-to-face engagements in terms of paying for a specific package and so on. We also use that with Chomi Bites. They've also been using that type of mechanism for delivery of food and so on. So there's quite an extensive list on the website, the PayPal's website, in terms of all the pharmacies, the retailers, the businesses that are already using the QR scan abilities. Then you can send money. Obviously, it's the same as your e-wallet, easy wallet of Bank Windhoek. Then it also can be a voucher for somebody that doesn't have a bank account. And then the nice one, which we all love, I believe, in Windhoek especially, is you can pay your parking without searching for coins that doesn't go. Like you put it in, it falls down. You put it in, you scratch it, it doesn't work. So you can pay your parking at the bigger malls. And then also on the app, it gives you the Buy a Brick social responsibility, which you can then do donations towards Buy a Brick. We've also posted on the same website as well as on our website on the number of houses that we've built through this initiative for the less fortunate Namibians and so on. So that is also on there. And then we have the ability for bill payments, so you can pay multiple suppliers at one go through the app without having the hassle of, doing the whole online tick box exercise. So, and then also bill payments like DSTV, GoTV, your water and municipality bill, and so on. The value adds is also airtime and electricity that you can acquire. Wherever you are in Namibia, it also works in South Africa. Obviously, you still just need to have the SIM card in of the Namibian. It will be roaming fees that you will be charged, but you can still do it while you are in SADC. So then cash in, cash out, so you can send a voucher to yourself and you can cash out at any of our merchants that are already incorporated with us. So you don't, what PayPal is saying, it's taking away the bank card and you're just doing everything with your phone. So that's the digital world. So in terms of the business, the PayPal's business, I've touched on that a little bit to say that you can even use it to pay wages. This application for PayPal's business is very, very, very trending now with our agricultural type of SMEs, where not always can the owner of the farm be on site to do the little packages with the payments and so on. So then they would use PayPal to do the payments to their farm workers.
Okay.
Then in terms of PayPal's merchant, I've given you the example of, there's a little example of our QR scan code that we would then give, but it's unique to your business. And the money goes directly to your Standard Bank account linked to that QR code when people then snap and scan. So in terms of that, it is convenient for payment. You don't pay cash deposit fees. It's less frustration for you as a business owner, because the nice thing about this is there's a web portal where you can do reconciliation of payments received, provided obviously that the person has entered in, when he's done the QR, entered in the reference that you require for your business so that you can do easy reconciliations. But it's very easy, and you can set what the teller that receives the payments for your business needs to ask them to put in when they are paying. Or alternatively, you can just make a little note or pamphlet that we also help you with when we install your PayPal's merchants with you. We can then collaborate with you to put in those little details in terms of what specifically your business would require as that referencing that needs to be included. It is easy to use, and it's less costly. Then I've just put on there a little the references. So the website is paypals.na. The PayPal's team directly is paypals@standardbank.com.na. My team, once again, Namibia Enterprise Direct at standardbank.com.na. So this is all your business bankers. You are welcome to contact them directly, and they will just send you in touch or keep you in touch or connect you to the person that needs to go out to enable your business for that. We've also had a few braai stands that would also use, barbecue stands that would also use Snap and the PayPals, because they do not want to keep the cash. They may be sometimes, stand late hours on a Friday or Saturday. They do not want to keep cash, and then they would use PayPal's merchant as well to then get the funds in. And the nice part of PayPal's is the fact that you can link any other bank account to it to do the payment. So that is in a nutshell in terms of PayPal's. In our next webinar, we will be doing a presentation on our blue market. So we are now in the production stage. So it's almost like Amazon, which we've created, where any business in Namibia, whether it is a business that banks with us or not, will be able to register on this platform to market their business or their service. We will then link you with related service providers in your region or so on. So you would, for instance, go in on the website, you would say, I need a plumber in Ochivarongo, and then all the plumbers that has registered would come up, and you would get their details, and they would have a web page for those that are interested. So it's a different way of marketing, and Standard Bank will be driving that. And then in terms of that is also connecting you to the next level. So the next level is what we call our e-market trader. So that will also be covered in our next session, which is in April. E-market trader is now, if you are currently producing, servicing, and also providing services and products locally, we would like to help you build your business in such a way that you can start exporting within Africa with the new legislation where that was passed. And we partner with the standard banks and Stanbics across Africa to connect you to the wherever you need to get your raw material from, or you need to maybe export towards. And we would tell you, okay, in Ghana, this is the, your product that you produce. This is the ask in Ghana. So these are and we would link you up. So that's what we're busy with. We've tested with South Africa, and we've done with Uganda and Nigeria, as well as Kenya. So it's working well in those markets. So we are now in the final stages before we will launch it to market. But we envisage it to be out there in the market for market usage and consumption by end of April. But we will launch it also on this platform going forward. Then eMarket Trader has a very nice part of it, is once you register with us, whether you are banking with us or not, you can still do your foreign exchange transactions through that platform. However, what is nice about it is if you use eMarket Trader, you would then be able to, say for instance, let's use mangoes. Can we use the mangoes of Ausengeer? So you're the producer of mangoes, but now you also want to, you've discovered that you can export to, let's say, Nigeria, and please, Nigerians, don't kill me for this. Maybe they don't have such nice, huge mangoes that our Ausengeer can produce, and they want our Namibian produce to be exported there, the same like with our meat, for instance. So then what we would be able to do is tell you who are the companies, businesses and entities that has placed a demand for mango specifically in that area. And we would connect you via the Standard Bank that side to say, our customer wants to export, your customer is saying they want this, that they have the demand, and we would connect, and obviously then the engagement is then happening between you and where the demand is going. Vice versa, the same. If you want to import, do you really need to import from Europe, or can you import in Africa where the things are already, done, and you have banks that are talking to one another to make the journey for you easier? And what we do when that deal is clinched, we facilitate the logistics along the way, from customs to excise to transport and all those things, because it's part of the package. And then we also negotiate, because it's working through the same bank, that footprint is all over Africa. We negotiate for you a better rate in terms of the logistical side, because we do know and understand that the challenges for SMEs is the customs, the transport costs from point A to B, because they usually don't import or export in bulk. It's small quantities, and hence the cost goes up. So that is what is in the pipeline, what we have solutioned in other parts of Africa already. So we're bringing it now to Namibia, and then that is the next stage in terms of digital enablement that we are doing with right now. And then the last one is banking via WeChat. WeChat being that you will be virtually, we would be able to do a video call in every engagement, and not necessarily you'll have to come into a bank to do your things. So especially we are partnering also with the regulators to solve for this thing of wet signatures. That will definitely also, that's on the top of all our priorities in terms of that. So let's just stay tuned in terms of that, and we are still continuing with our UNDP call for proposals. It's closing off on the 5th of April, where it's grant with match financing from Standard Bank. Grant do not have to be paid back. The financing, you decide whether you want to take up the financing offer that Standard Bank brings to the table. If you don't, it's okay, as long as you can provide us feedback in terms of how have you created jobs in the economy and how you have sustained your business to grow or stay alive. So that's what we're busy doing with UNDP, the credit guarantee scheme with Development Bank of Namibia for businesses that has been hard hit by COVID. We will also start engaging our customers, especially those that the business in existence, COVID came, it didn't go so well, and now you don't have collateral in terms of incurring debt to save your business. That collateral is now then provided by this partnership, where Development Bank together with Nasria gives the collateral, and as a Standard Bank is then in a position to give you the lending backed by this partnership that we've gone into. So that is basically the two ones coming up. And then the third one, we will talk in April, because we're still in tight conversations with the regulator, but that one will go in terms of the whole commercial banks coming up with a SME zero-rated loan. So stay tuned, and we hope that you have learned a lot today, because I have certainly done so. And thank you so much for indulging us with the questions. It's very interesting, the things that are posted, and we appreciate your attendance today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felicia. Questions for you. Will the bank insist on seeing a marketing plan? That was one of the questions that was posed. So if they come with a business plan, the marketing plan needs to be part of that.
So usually in the business plan, we just ask for the basics of the business plan. And we accepted that it's part of a business plan.
Okay.
However, this is now bank jargon, and I'll try to, tone it down in such a way that you understand. If your exposure, your lending with us, is of a high value magnitude already, we would really want to see a proper vetted marketing plan if we would want to extend further lending towards, because then we would want to understand. So
Yeah.
the higher the value of the exposure, so then if it's plus $1 million that you require, then we would really want to see a proper marketing plan, and what is your way forward in your thinking, your vision, and what are you going to do about it.
Okay, so everybody out there, please enter the competition. You can win this marketing plan pack from Standard Bank that you can then take to the bank. I'm sure that has got all the outlines that they require to have a
Yes.
proper vetted marketing plan. So thank you so much, Felicia. And then the question still for Brendan. What advice can you give to a small business owner who doesn't have much time to focus on marketing or enough funds to employ someone to focus solely on the marketing?
So this is a really good question, and I wish I could have spent more time actually throwing this in, because this is something that I feel very strongly about. Time is, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, is probably your greatest resource. And you don't want to spend your time on things where there's very little return on your investment. So the rule of thumb of 28, 80-20 rules, you want to spend 80% of your time on something that makes you money, and the other 20% of your time doing those things that don't directly make money. But so many times people look at creating content as being in that 20% because they don't see the results that come from it. So for someone who doesn't have a lot of time, I think what is critically important is to be consistent. You can be consistent with a little bit of time and see far greater rewards from your marketing efforts than if you say, once a week or once every 2 weeks, or maybe I'll do it once a month, spend the whole entire day on marketing. You're not going to see those same results. I can't go into too much detail with some of this, but there's some strategies in place that only require 25 to 30 minutes a day or twice a week that will see really great results, but it's about consistency. It's about trying to post consistently, whether that's once a day, something on Twitter, or whether that's something on LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be overly processed or high quality production, but it just needs to be consistent. So I think consistency is key. And if you can start off with 15 minutes a day or half an hour a day, that will get you so much further than thinking once a month I'm going to sit and spend a whole day just doing that. Because I think for any small business owner, the time that it takes to just focus on, say, just marketing is going to take them away from what they do from day to day. But if you use a strong business marketing strategy, that 25 minutes or half an hour a day that you use can be so laser focused that it makes it so much easier to post the right content and to create the right content. So my advice is to be consistent and rather focus then on the quantity you put out. If you don't have the time, than necessarily the quality of it, because quality will consume so much of your time.
Yeah, and it's costly.
And it becomes costly, yes.
Okay, the other question is, which is more effective, organic reach or paid ads on social media?
All right, so this is a whole different topic here. You have to understand that if you're not paying for the platform, that you as the consumer, you're paying the price for that. You are the product. And so one of the things is that if you are a business owner and you're not paying for ads, there's a limited amount of exposure you're going to get from organic. Now, I still 100% believe organic is going to be the most authentic content you can put out there. And organic, the returns you get on organic are always going to be far higher than are going to be from paid, especially if you weigh up how much you have to pay for it. For example, in Namibia, how much the ads are going to cost on Facebook versus the time it would take to produce really good quality content, and you add all those things together. Organic is, I think, what everybody would love to do because you don't have to pay for it. But the thing is that because it's a free platform, the platform will limit how much organic exposure you can get, how many organic followers you'll, for example, get, how many times a video will shown until it just gets completely removed. Because from the stats that we have, we know that there's very, very tight limits to how many followers you can get on, for example, Twitter before they just stop suggesting you to anybody. Like, you're not going to exceed that because nobody organically is going to see you. And the same thing with the content. If you're not, it's not hard fast. I would say that this is probably true for 95, maybe even higher than 95% of all content, is that once you reach that threshold, you're just not going to go past that organically. The way to overcome that, because you do believe that organic is better, is to build a very strong value-based community where the content you're sharing, every time you're sharing content, there's always value, and it's guaranteed value, so that people will come back and people will come back. Whereas if you just posting, mediocre content, and people come and this is not really, there's not much value here, they're rather going to go somewhere else where there's value. So rather post high valued content that will engage your community, and then you can build a solid community from that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing to do. Obviously, if you have the money, you can buy a ton of ads. But in Namibia, ads still on Facebook is fairly cheap. So even if you just got $15 a day, you can get really far. I know some businesses, some of my clients that I've worked with, over a period of a few years, they've amassed 60,000 followers on their Facebook page by just spending the minimum that you can pay on Facebook, which is now currently $15 a day. Okay. So 15 Namibian dollars a day. So you can build massive audiences with a small budget, but I think if you organic just will give you better results.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I add something in that context? There's something that usually frustrates me about business Facebook pages is you post this lovely thing, you tell what the cost is, but there's no where do I contact you. That's one. And secondly, you would then see in the comments that people are asking you maybe the price, is this the price, is this the size, is this the color, is there any other colors, but then you don't even respond. So that is like a social kill for your business. So you need to be very clear in your posting, in where do they contact, maybe like something to the effect is drop your request on this email address, or alternatively, secondly, is answer in the comments field of the posting what your customers or prospective customers are asking you, because I am personally, if you don't answer me, I won't ever visit that site again, because it means that you're not interested. To me, that translates in that way to me. So that's just,
And Margaret, you touched on it about support and what are you going to do afterwards. That includes what you're going to do on digital when somebody comments.
Sure. Felicia, there's a question for you as well. How do you handle conflict of interest against business plans handed in by existing potential clients?
So conflict of interest in terms of banking, I guess.
Oh, clients.
Clients. Oh, okay, we're not allowed to share customer A information with customer B or with anybody. If I'm your banker, I may only share it with my boss and whoever is looking at the application.
But I think the question here is if you're going to be subjective. I mean, if you have two brewery owners and you have to loan them money and both want to expand and do the same thing, for instance, how's that going to impact on your decision? Who are you going to give the loan to?
Okay, so it doesn't work like that in banking. Both are being assessed on the merits, the pluses and the minuses of the application. So it's not that we look at there's only this amount of funds to distribute. We look at the business case. So case by case, if both business cases are viable and good, then we give to both.
Okay, and then market, that means they're going to share the market.
They're going to share the market, but that's it. Life is tough. Who else? I mean, you have, I'll go back to Margaret's example of you have Hewlett's and Marathon Sugar on the same shelf. Whether I choose Hewlett's or she chooses Marathon, that's life. This is business.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's our questions. I think it's a wrap. It's been a long session. Thank you so much for your time and being here with us. And thank you to all the viewers out there for taking the time to join us live. The video will also be available on demand afterwards. And please remember to complete the competition form so that you can win the prize. And again, congratulations to our winner for the previous webinar. I sincerely thank you all. What I wanted you to do was get a sense of how you can increase your sales, obviously. Market your business and beat your competitors, and I think they've done it brilliantly. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then before we close, April will be our next topic, and it will be e-commerce. Felicia will be here. She's made lots of promises. So please be back. You can ask her all these questions about the blue market, etc. And then we'll see you. And just want to say to Brian and the technical team, thank you so much for sorting out the glitches today. And I again apologize for starting late. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next month.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you.